Hi everyone, it's Ali and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I have a really fun interactive card for you. It's based on a slider video tutorial by Jennifer McGuire, which was done quite some time ago. And I've just made it into sort of like a double slider, and I'm going to call it a pull-push slider. So you pull on one tab and then push them both back in at the end. So I'm just using some shaded lilac distress oxide ink to colour my background piece, and my really cheap makeup brushes from Kmart, which work fabulously. And I'm going to use some tumbled glass down the bottom as well. So you'll see with my ink, I put it onto my glass medium mat first, and then I pick it up from there and sort of brush it onto my card. Now I'm flicking with some water droplets just to give it a little bit of interest, and I'm going to cut a slit along the bottom about 11 centimetres and around about 2 centimetres up from the bottom of the card. Exact measurements are not my thing, I just kind of go with the flow, but these are around about what they were. So above this slit you're going to go about 2 centimetres above that, you're going to cut another one about half the length. So I'm just going to run that through my cutter, and then you can see that's my bottom slit, and then one above that about half the length of that bottom one with a bit of a gap between them. So now I've got two tabs, one's about 12.5 centimetres and the other one's about 7 centimetres, and they are going to sit behind the card approximately there like so, and they're going to be the pull tabs. So I'm just going to flip my card over and show you how they place on the back of the card. So the long one at the bottom and then the shorter one at the top. And the shorter one's meant to be hidden at the start of the pull-push sort of mechanism. So I've just got a couple of extra tabs. They're about 4 centimetres long, and all these tabs I have doubled up the card just to reinforce them so they're a little bit stronger. And those 4 centimetre tabs are going to attach at the end of each of my longer tabs like so. So I need to adhere them on there. I've used double-sided tape because it's a little bit stronger than my roller tape. So I'm just going to lie that down and attach them exactly like that, so that they're sort of going to, the longer one is going to hit the smaller one as it's pulled. It's like this, and then it's dragging it across. So that's how the mechanism works. I'm just going to flip it over because now I need some tabs to poke through at the front, into the front of the card to attach my images onto. So I'm just going to cut some tabs for the front, and then I'm going to stick them onto that part of each of the tabs. So again, I'm going to use my double-sided tape, and one of those bits is a little bit red and blue, but it was just a scrap piece of card, so don't worry about that, and you're not going to see that bit obviously. Just taking off the backing piece, and then I'm going to stick those tabs that are going to poke through the front of the card. So one's going to be at the back, one of the tabs, and one of the tabs is going to be at the front, so it slides in like that. That's the case for both of those, and I've accidentally put that top tab, I've accidentally put both pieces through, see to the front, so I've just got to pull it out and get the back piece out to the back. Now I'm just going to make a couple of sleeves for my pull tabs, just so they don't move around when you're pulling them. And I've just made those out of thin copy paper. And you don't want them too tight, but you also don't want them too loose so that your pull tabs swing up and down. So you need them fairly snug. And just slide those over the end, and they're going to sit towards the end of the card, as I said, just to keep the tabs straight. So I'm just putting some adhesive on the back of those sleeves and pressing them down once they're straight. Okay, and then flipping the card over, you'll see how you pull the bottom tab, and then that swipes along and pulls that second tab along as well. So I've just put 3D foam around the edge of my card. Also, that's going to keep that bottom tab from sliding around, and it allows the tabs to slide freely behind the card when it's going to be attached to the front. Just a quick bit of colouring for my images. I'm not going to, unfortunately, I don't have time to show you all of my colouring today, but I just coloured in a few images And then I put some extra 3D foam on the back of my card as well, making sure that it's not in the way of the pull tab mechanisms. Now on the front of the card, I'm just putting some 3D foam on the front tabs that are poking out the front. I hadn't decided where I was going to put my Panda yet, and in the end I had to stick him a bit higher because he kept catching on that tab. I'm just going to stick my little bookworm on his tab, and then I'm going to trim off the excess behind him of that tab poking through. Okay, so it looked like it was working fairly well. I still hadn't decided where my Panda was going to go. I just used a bit of a powder tool to see if that helped it slide more freely, which it did. And now I'm going to adhere my books onto that other tab. I thought a couple of pieces of 3D foam would hold it more securely, so that's what I've done. And just attaching that on. And that's how it works. So fairly simple. Now my Panda, I did struggle a little bit with placing him, so I gently pressed him down, not too hard, so that I could lift and move him around a little bit. I wanted him behind the books, not showing on the left-hand side, but enough behind the books so you couldn't really see him. And then I wanted the other stack of books to go next to it, so that he was kind of hiding behind them and then he was revealed. So I put my books gently down and then realised that my little bookworm was catching on them, so I just had to lift and reposition them. So that's generally what I do, is I gently press things down when I'm putting them on the front of my card, just in case they're in the wrong place, and I can usually lift them up and move them around if I need to. So now I just did some more images and position those on the card as well. I love that little bunny reading the book. And I also used a sentiment from the Goodreads and some little speech bubbles from the Stackable Cuties. Now I'm just finishing off taking off the backing of the 3D foam and placing the whole piece on the front of a white card and pressing down. And then I've just put pull here and push here on my tabs, and that's how it works. So I hope you have enjoyed the video, and thanks always to Jennifer McGuire. She's such an inspiration, and that's where I got the original slider, obviously, mechanism from. And I hope it inspires you to try an interactive card and that you've enjoyed the video. See you next time.